to another episode of Marathon. I am Colt. I'm joined today by two of my good friends. Here are
Henry,
Andrew, and I'm not as hungry this time because Colt allowed me to eat before the first recording.
we still decided to eat before recording rather than eat during recording. I think is the big.
I wanted to eat during recording.
Yeah, we could tell. We were picking it up.
I was picking up my sandwich and the mic. Should just let me do it.
Well, today, folks, we are watching something that's a little bit quicker than the last 5 stack that we waded into with with Twilight. What a nightmare that was. That episode is up and worth listening to if you haven't already. But today, we're watching something else. What are we watching, Henry?
Robert Rodriguez's Mariachi trilogy.
Hell yeah.
Super sick. I have seen all of these.
I've seen none of them.
Oh boy, I've seen all of them as well.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going in fresh on these things.
That's excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you too much
Thank
right
you.
away. That way you can just look with your eyes.
I can absorb it.
Use your ears a little bit, maybe. This
Okay.
time. You know, just listen.
Wow.
Could happen.
2 out of 5 senses.
What I will say, these are all just very fun action movies, a lot of comedy, a decent drama in each of them too. And what's really cool, what we're going to be seeing is like Robert Rodriguez's evolution as a filmmaker.
Okay.
Because the first movie is literally his breakout into the world of Hollywood, age 23, made for $10,000 or more like $7,000. We'll get into that, but incredible behind the scenes story.
Awesome.
And then the second one, he's just made it into Hollywood. He's making all these movies. So now suddenly the main star is Antonio Banderas.
Oh,
We're
wow.
like, ooh, okay.
I love Antonio Banderas.
Major jump in quality.
That's awesome.
And then the third one is like stacked cast.
Okay.
Antonio Banderas is back. I didn't mention Salma Hayek's in the second one as well.
Okay.
And this one, Johnny Depp, Mickey Rourke, Willem Dafoe,
Yeah, a
Ava
little
Mendes.
bit too much.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, the second one or the third one
Sounds like
just
a
like
thriller production. What's going on?
just
Yeah,
launches.
it's cool. And I got to check if he did anything in between these, but I'm pretty sure he was just locked in.
Oh, he was doing tons of stuff.
He's super busy.
Literally the
Red
second
hot.
one.
Okay.
We could save this factoid for later, but the second one, there's like this, superstition that your second movie is gonna suck after you make a good first one, and so in order to avoid that slump, he made 4 movies at the same time.
Oh, that's right.
And the second one was one of them.
What were the other ones? Were
Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
I can't remember the other. Like he did a part of 4 hotels
Dusk
or
Till
4
Dawn's
rooms.
like a pretty well-known movie too, though.
Incredible.
And he
Yeah.
made that at the same time?
Yeah, he was just knocking all these out.
That's incredible.
He is
That's
an incredibly
so hard to do.
We'll go into when we see this first one. We can go into some of the behind the scenes of how industrious Robert Rodriguez is as a movie director, because he's filming everything as well, and he's usually editing all of his own stuff. He
That
usually
lighting.
does his own
He's
music.
got one light bulb he brings around.
It's just on a
Forever.
loose cord. Yeah.
So-
Pretty much.
He literally describes how when he's making these Hollywood movies, everyone is just like blown away by how fast he's able to move, because
That's crazy.
he just does it himself, and everyone like
Yeah,
gets,
he
gets
shoots
on
to
board with
edit
it.
every scene.
Yeah,
Like what you're about to see in the first one is basically just what he shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
No other
Well, that
cuts.
does make it easier to edit when you just literally shoot one take and then go with it.
It's just perfect.
Yeah.
Cued, yeah.
Maybe, I mean,
once we see it, we'll get into the specifics, but
that's awesome.
these are action comedies, comedy actions for the win.
That's amazing. I mean, obviously I'm aware of Robert Rodriguez, but I haven't watched some of these older ones that he's made.
Right. Yeah. These days he's doing Spy Kids and Alita, Battle
Yeah,
Angel,
like, yeah,
Sin City.
yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to joke that he's kind of schizophrenic because he's, makes Spy Kids and these like family friendly movies. And then he's
Right.
also really good friends with Quentin Tarantino. They made Grindhouse together.
Yeah.
It's just like
Just
kids,
goes back and
I don't know.
kids
Spy
one
Kids,
moment and violent
Spy
the
Kids
other.
was very scary for me as a child.
Actually, that's pretty on point.
The thumbs,
Yeah.
like the walking
Thumb men.
thumbs,
Oh yeah.
legitimately terrifying.
All
for
the
me.
Fooglies, I think they're
I
called.
don't even know what that is.
That's what they're turning. That's what they turn the parents into. All the actual adult spies are getting turned into cartoon characters for the bad guys show. Honestly, we should be binge watching Spy Kids.
We should watch
after
those,
that.
yeah.
We'll just watch that. Right
those movies
behind
are
these.
crazy.
Yeah,
today.
we'll turn this into a 6 movie.
All the 3D
run.
shit they were doing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
early.
Isn't there Spy Kids 4D?
Yeah.
Was there like a smell-o-vision version?
Smell, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a friend in that.
You're
A
supposed
friend
to-
from NYU was in it. We were like, oh boy, we can't wait to smell you.
He was in the movie?
She was in the movie.
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
You're supposed to eat a burrito, throw up in a bucket, and then while you watch it, just have the bucket with
I can't tell if you're joking or not.
you. That's 4D.
That's 4D. Well, cool. I am super excited for this. The one factoid that I think is true about this first movie, and I might be completely wrong. We'll look it up after we watch it. But I think he stole the camera from UT for this movie to shoot it.
That's very possible.
Yeah, I don't remember because I read Rebel Without a Crew,
Okay.
but it was a while ago.
And Rebel Without a Crew is his book that he wrote about these movies?
It's like his diary of making the
Okay.
first one.
Yeah, it's basically all about the first one. Yeah.
Cool.
So he was going to UT. I could see him borrowing equipment for the entire summer.
Because that's just the legend that I've heard from people that were in UT film school, that I think that's just like a thing that's said there. I don't know if it's
the
true.
$7,000 budget was straight up film.
Yeah, he literally
Just
only
right.
only for the film
Yeah.
Oh, and he shot.
itself.
I hadn't even like thought about that, but obviously at the time he was shooting this on film. That's just a whole nother level
That's why
of complexity.
Yeah, you just shoot
That's-
usually
yeah.
one take, or
Yeah.
if he missed something in a take, he would just shoot that specific part.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like he would shoot exactly what he needs to cut away to for that
Yeah.
moment, and then would cut back to the part of the shot that does work.
Yeah.
That's insane. I can't imagine being almost by yourself because it was just him and one other guy.
Him and his main actor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that went down
Just how we make him
to
pushed up.
Mexico to make this thing
Yeah.
on film. That's insane.
Yeah.
There's
It's
like
awesome.
4 people on a camera team working a film camera most of the time, at least.
Yeah, and he just learned everything.
Yeah, like Spielberg, he was just making movies since he was 11.
Yeah.
With his, like, he had a large family, tons of brothers and sisters. So just learned. Oh, the way he learns how to edit is like utterly incredible. It's
It's because he had that, like, his dad bought him some kind of VCR combo thing
yeah.
where you can edit on it, but you can't actually, like, delete or cut scenes. So he would just shoot everything perfectly just on the camera first.
Whoa.
And then, he'd
he
be
would,
able to
Yeah, he would shoot it and then rewind to the exact point he wanted to cut and then film over like
over
the tail
it.
end of
Yeah.
the
So
shot.
he was basically just
Oh my
like using
God.
a VCR thing, rewinding to a point and then retaping. And that's how you just edit everything.
That's insanely impressive.
And he did that for 10 years.
And then, yeah, at the ripe age of 23, just knocks this out. And they're just going to sell it to the direct-to-video Spanish film market. And then when they're in LA, just the hype picked them up.
Yeah.
They got signed on to Columbia.
Does this feel like watching an Olympic athlete for you guys? Just like seeing someone this young being like, fuck, damn it.
definitely-
They're so good.
I definitely
impressive,
held
though.
myself to this standard for a long time. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm 25 and I haven't made this yet. Like, why am I even trying anymore?
Yeah.
I should just give up.
Yeah. Well,
But no, it's all good. He's like,
It's all good. We can talk about an existential crisis later.
yeah, after we watch the movie.
okay. Well, let's just get into the first one. I'm super excited.
El
All right, let's
Mariachi.
check it out.
In 1991, Columbia Pictures introduced you to an extraordinary new filmmaker and an unforgettable new vision. The director was 23-year-old John Singleton. The film, Boys in the Hood. Now, Columbia Pictures is proud to present a remarkable new film from another extraordinary new talent. The director is 23-year-old Robert Rodriguez. The film, El Mariachi. El Mariachi.
Andrew's peeing again.
Wasting valuable recording time
Yeah,
and money.
You got to get to bed. You got to wake up at like 3 a.m. tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
How was your pee, Andrew?
it was good. I was going to get my laptop, but that's all right. My pee was good. I'm at 1 pee
Yeah.
for this podcast today.
Wow, that's new record for Andrew. Usually it's like 3 or 4 before we get to the first movie.
Yeah, I'm typically hydrating,
Not today, though.
Not this time.
Not this time. No, I think, I rested and hydrated yesterday, so I'm just living normal today.
Okay, your bladder's on a good tempo.
It's not bad, yeah.
That's good, man. Well, speaking of good, this movie's awesome.
Yeah.
It was sick. Yeah, Cole, what are your first impressions? Because I've seen this at least twice already.
I loved it. I'm super, super impressed. I don't know. This kind of fits into the. I haven't seen a movie like this before with this setting, but this kind of fits into the same. Like, this is just a really cool '80s action movie with a different plot line. I mean, it's not like based on anything, but I'm really, really impressed with this, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am impressed even more knowing the budget of this thing was it $7,000?
$7,000.
$7,225.
Yeah, and we did look up. It was a quote unquote borrowed camera from UT, so we'll allow Robert Rodriguez to get away with his petty crime from the past.
Yeah, it blew me away because the first time I saw it, I knew it was, I knew who Robert Rodriguez was, and I wanted to see his first film, but I didn't know the budget or how it was made or anything. And I was impressed.
It's just
straight off the bat.
Really, really solid story.
Yeah.
Too.
The pacing's incredible.
Yeah, this is written, directed, edited,
shot,
sound by Robert Rodriguez.
To
do this on your own at his age, I know we talked about that before in like the first portion of this podcast. He's 23 at the time.
Yeah.
This is a really, really solid front to back movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no holes really.
Yeah.
And then whatever holes they had while, with the script, they just did the dream sequences. Yeah. And it wasn't pretentious, like you said, during the movie either.
Yeah. Super mature. I mean, if you're comparing this to movies that people have made while they are in college.
Which he basically was.
Yeah.
Just out of college.
Crazy impressive.
And this was just supposed to be a practice film.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because he knew, he was like, my first movie's probably not going to be great, so he did probably try as hard as he could, obviously.
Yeah.
But he was like, we're going to sell this to the straight-to-video Mexican market, and with the money from that, then we'll make like an actual movie.
Yeah. Well, that is the constant plague that we live in the film industry of let's make this one thing and then something will happen. That is the mindset that we're all in. But it worked for him. What an awesome project for a first movie.
What a start.
Incredible. Can you run us through what happened?
Yeah. So we start with this war going down between an evil crime boss, Moco, which we double checked does in fact is the Mexican word for booger.
Yeah.
He's the crime lord.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
And it starts with him trying to eliminate one of his former partners / henchmen, who is basically like running a crime operation out of the prison that he's held in.
In a jail cell, essentially running it.
Yeah, this bad guy Mocha tries to take him out and it goes horribly wrong. So then Azul, this other bad guy, just like decides that now is the time he's going to walk out of prison and get revenge on Mocha. And his like assassin case of choice is to carry a guitar case full of guns and knives. And so he just goes into
pretty cool.
Ciudad Acuna, like to find and murder Moco and his whole operation. But then we have this hapless hero, who I don't think is ever named. He's just the mariachi.
The mariachi, yeah.
Yeah, he's just the mariachi. Is this young dude
you're right. They never give him a name.
coming to the city to pursue his dreams of being a mariachi?
Also, something that we should mention: this entire movie's in Spanish. It's all subtitled.
Yeah.
Not distracting at all. It serves the movie fantastically. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Indeed. So we've got this, just young dude trying to make his dreams of a mariachi, and then very quickly becomes a case of mistaken identity as Moco's men, who have never seen Azul before, are just told to kill the first guy they see wearing black and carrying a guitar case
in this city.
City in Mexico.
It later evolves to he's wearing a white shirt and black pants. Kill him.
They're gonna kill everyone.
Yeah, just light up the town.
Yeah.
And so from there we just get all these like crazy adventures as this, sort of everyman finds himself. All these bad guys are trying to murder him. And he has to go kind of in hiding. He finds this woman who owns a bar and and that starts this love story. I don't know. It's like at that point, it's just really great, well done, like twists and turns.
Yeah.
All leading to, I'm going to give away the ending. I mean, we pretty much always done that. But
yeah,
after kind of like, it's a fun, fun action movie. There's good suspense. There's like little just jokes. Like the whole thing's very unpretentious. They're just having a good time.
Yeah.
But it does end kind of the way that the first Mad Max movie ends. The bad guy's got a hold of Azul and the girl. The bad guy realizes the bad guy, Moko, is in love with the girl. And he realizes she's in love with the mariachi. And so he kills her on the spot. And you're not ready for it. You're just kind of like, this is like a good old
That doesn't
action.
happen in movies these days.
I thought they were going to
Not
run
at all.
away or last minute she's going to kill him, something.
Yeah.
And no, it's like she dies. The mariachi shows up and Moko looks at him and says, you've been killing my men. You like took the, also that is something. The mariachi does kill a lot of people
does.
in spite of being a normal
Yeah.
everyman.
With
But
guns. It's not like he's accidentally killing
Picks
people.
up a Mac 10 and he goes,
Uzis, yeah.
I know how to use this.
lighting people up. But no, he gets there. He's looking at his dead beloved. And then the drug lord is like, you've taken everything from me. I'm going to take everything from you, and shoots his guitar playing hand so he can never play again.
Tough one.
And he does kill the bad guy. It's pretty amazing. None of the bad guys' henchmen are worried about this at all.
Well, it feels like the henchmen hate the main
This
bad
is
guy
true.
too.
Yeah, it's kind of this fun underlying
Yeah.
thing of
Well,
it.
he's lighting
They're all
matches on his main henchman's neck
face.
and face.
Yeah.
The back of the neck stripe is sick.
So that's where we end off, is like this guy. Now he's also at one point in the movie, he mistakenly trades his normal guitar and guitar case for the assassin's guitar case full of guns. So the movie ends with him riding a motorcycle with a guitar case full of guns into the horizon.
And a pit bull.
And a pit bull. His dreams of
HB.
being a guitar player have been destroyed. His love is lost. He is now
El
primed
Mariachi.
to be this gunslinger legend.
You
And
know,
that's where it ends.
yeah, it's kind of like life. You move to a new city, you got all these dreams, and then you leave without your hands.
Yeah,
So
but
many
really
dreams.
bad breakup.
Yeah, it's rough.
Lose
But you get a
function in your
dog.
hand.
It kind of sounds like the typical Austin story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, when you
The
get
classic,
down.
your girlfriend dies, you get a dog and her knife.
And her knife
her
that you
letter
put on
opener.
the front of your motorcycle, which if you go 80 miles an hour, it's going to come out,
You're gonna fly up.
fly up into your neck. Maybe that's what he's hoping for.
Oh, I think earlier in this, I said this, and I don't think I explained it very well. This feels like an old school action movie in the way that it's just going.
Yeah.
And we're not caught up in like the weird politics of things. We're not trying to like understand how the criminal gangs are interacting with the city
Yeah.
folk. This is a one-track storyline.
Yeah.
And it's going fast and it's just chugging along. And I love that.
It's incredibly
I love
fun.
that kind of pacing in these action movies. I
Yeah.
don't want this weird like interconnected intercontinental
yeah.
drama
And you don't-
political thing. I
You don't
care
even
about
need
that.
the flashback of Domino and the main bad guy, you know, getting together because he gave her the bar and all that.
yeah.
So they don't like flashback to that experience. They don't flashback to the main thing between Azul and Moko and why he didn't pay Azul. They didn't like go back to their
Right,
old
yeah.
relationship. It's just established that there's an issue and they just run with it.
It's so much better, right?
Yeah.
I think
mean,
it's so much better in an action movie specifically to have
Yeah.
this kind of pacing instead of like what's like a modern reference of a thing that does this too much. I'm trying to pull one. Maybe like Taken is not a good reference for anything.
I was gonna say John Wick, but I love the politics, quote unquote. of
There's a
John
way
Wick.
to do it
I mean, it'd be
correctly.
really hard to do it
Yeah.
on this movie.
There's a way to do the modern action movie that has like the political thriller stuff that works.
I'm
But
thinking
there's
like Michael
also-
Bay. Like
yeah.
a lot of Michael Bay movies have, you know, all the explosions that you expect, but those movies are always like 2.5 hours long, and they'll cut to the White House and all the White House people being like, "What are we gonna do?" It's like nothing.
Yeah.
This is gonna be taken care of by Transformers. You're literally. That's how I thought of in one of the new Godzilla movies. They're constantly like,
Yes, that's a great example.
Are we
That's
going
a
to
great
use the
example.
nuclear bomb? And it's like, no. Godzilla was literally created in the 50s as an anti-atom bomb movie by the Japanese. You're obviously not going to use a bomb. So why are we doing this?
Also, the movie's called Godzilla.
Yeah,
You're not.
obviously, it's
Yeah.
going to end with monsters. Like this plot line has nowhere to go. You're
Yeah.
just stalling.
They probably
And-
should have used the nuke. We don't need any more Godzilla films.
Have you seen the new one? We should watch. We should.
The last one I watched
No,
was
let's not
the
brand
bright
Godzilla.
one, and I don't know
The
how
bright
else
one?
to explain it.
The bright one with
the bright one.
Just
Constant
my
flashing.
eyes were squinting the whole time.
This movie's kind of going along the same lines we've been talking. This movie's really fast. It's not a very long movie at all. It's only like an hour 20,
80,
right?
Yeah, 81 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Time.
And they do pace it very well, though. There are moments where it slows down, but it doesn't feel like they're running out of steam. They're just taking a moment to get a breath. Like at one point, he does get to play his guitar for a crowd of people. They cheer ecstatically.
Standing out.
I don't know
After
how they
one
got,
song.
They got like 50 people in that bar.
No, literally, that was just a night at a bar, and they were
Oh.
like, "Yo, guys, can you all like be in our movie?" And this is somewhere in the middle of Mexico, so everyone's like, "Yeah, sure." And they just filmed one take. We need to get into the background of
it's
how
like
this
5
movie's made. It's
seconds.
all just incredible.
It's pretty awesome.
All the tricks they did. So yeah, so raising the money for this movie, he literally became a test subject at this like what they were like testing
Pharmaco.
Yeah, they're testing pharmaceutical drugs. So he's living in this like facility for 6 weeks or something.
Jeez.
And they would, they controlled everything you ate and how much you slept, and then they would like draw all these blood samples. And so that's where he got the majority of the budget for the movie,
was from being a participant.
Yeah.
being
And then
a test subject.
He had this whole plan where while he's doing this, he's going to write the script
So he wrote this entire script
in there.
during the. That's a way to do it.
That's also where he met the bad guy, Moko.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? That bad guy was also at part of the test.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He does have a really good look. Like in the Rebel Without a Crew book, he's talking about like, man, all of my friends here, they're comparing this guy to like Rutger Hauer and Christopher Walken and like some other person. They're like, I think I need this guy in my movie. He does have
pretty
a really good look.
So that's the guy that he took with him down there, or is that the
Well, then the main
actor is
Is the mariachi.
The mariachi.
He's
Okay.
his like good friend.
I
He's his
understand.
good friend. That town they filmed in, Acuna, I'm pretty sure that's where his friend is from. As
Okay.
well, or his family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, they were getting the locations in this movie are amazing. They're shooting in like inside of a prison. They're
Yeah.
shooting inside of this like weird hotel. They're in all these cool bars.
Yeah, the police ended up
Yeah.
lending them weapons. That's why they all
Let's
look
talk
real.
about that.
Yeah. So yeah, they are in a real prison.
Yeah.
I don't think those are actual prisoners since eventually they all draw guns, but like,
No, those seem like
but they
I
did,
know
have,
actors.
they did have
They're not
like,
real.
No, the
prisoners.
But
two
they-
guards actually work there.
I believe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
One of the fun things about the guns is that they went to the local police and were like, "Hey, we're making this movie. Can we borrow your guns?" And the police were like, "All right, sure." So there would always be a police officer there to like supervise.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But what's fun
This was
is
made
that,
in '93, so
whole
things have
different
changed.
rules. And it's in Mexico, just
Yeah.
different rules. But what's really fun is that they're using real guns, but they're using blank cartridges,
Right, yeah.
which jam in a real gun after one hit, after one pull of the trigger. So what you notice in this movie is every time you see a muzzle flash, it's there for 1 second, and then he cuts away to something else. And the sound effect of rapid machine gun fire strings it together.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, and then they drop more shells.
Yeah, they'll cut to like shells dropping on the ground, or they'll like cut to 3 angles of the gun.
You can't even-
know
The way they
yeah.
did it,
You
I would
don't
have
notice.
never have known that.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
So yeah, so like clever thinking, because I don't think they realized that going in, and they're like, okay, well we'll just do it this way. And he does it the entire
Yeah.
movie. This time is
That's
probably
awesome.
my 3rd time watching it, so I was like really focused on it.
It's
and,
hard to even tell once you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the squibs, just condoms filled with some kind of fake blood. Weightlifting belts. So I'm assuming you just kind of flex, or when you fall, it explodes.
blood comes out.
Hey, I mean, you were working with $7,000 in a foreign country. You gotta do some stuff.
Yeah. And then the wheelchair for the dolly. It's
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
incredible.
like a broken wheelchair from the local hospital.
Yeah. And then the lighting, he just had a 200-watt bulb.
A single.
A single one you just position around inside.
This movie doesn't look bad either.
No, it
It
doesn't.
looks pretty good.
I mean, his editing is so good. He's constantly like going from the wide to the close up, or like getting little inserts, and
Yeah.
that really helps the pacing as well too. Is there is energy in every scene.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cuts where it's, a medium shot and then it transitions seamlessly to a close up, but it's almost
Yeah.
like zooming in and the angle doesn't change whatsoever. It's just
Yeah.
like exactly the same shot, just closer. So it's so cool that he just envisioned that and just did it on the spot.
All
Right
on
then and
film
there.
too.
Yeah,
Which I feel like some people might not understand how complex this is.
It's messed up. I mean,
shooting on film is so hard to do.
Yeah, and your entire budget, it's super expensive shooting
Yeah.
film. So he shot 24 rolls total. And yeah, you just have to do what you do. And
Right. Yeah. So
one chance
yeah,
you
to the
cannot delete.
to the uninitiated, you don't get to watch what you just filmed the way you
Exactly.
do on a digital.
Yeah.
And you also don't quite know how it's gonna look. You don't just look through the viewfinder. You have to like set up the lighting, or, the aperture on your camera just right.
Yep.
And you could fuck it up, and that could be unusable. And he's literally, and these cameras are heavier too because you're literally using physical film loaded in there, and he's literally getting one take of everything you see in the movie.
That's insane. I mean, on a set today, if someone was using a camera like this with film, there would be 4 people operating that camera.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
And that's their only job. He's also lighting and directing.
Yeah, there's no slate.
There's no slate. Yeah.
And then all the sound. I didn't realize this, but I guess you guys were saying they filmed wild sound directly after the scenes.
Right, so they would shoot a
think
scene
so.
without sound to just shoot it with the actors. So that's what you get on camera. And then he would be like, okay, now say all your lines again into this microphone.
Can't blame him. I
And
mean,
they
he
would
was
just-
running everything.
They would just
Yeah.
line up the lines in post afterwards and just hoped it would work out. One of my favorite bits that I know of is, I work as a script supervisor, like worrying about continuity. And this has become, I mean, this might not be the best philosophy for a script supervisor to have, but
Oh
like,
boy, yeah.
well, there's just a scene where the bad guy, Azul, forgets to have his vest on. I haven't caught it in the 3 times that I've watched this movie, but I've read it in the book where Azul is like, that actor was like, oh shit, I didn't have my vest on in that shot. Should we get it again? Robert Rodriguez is like, A, we don't have the money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the film to waste on that. B, if anyone notices that, we've already lost them. Like, we've
That's
already
a
lost
great
their
point,
attention.
yeah.
So it doesn't matter. And literally, even me knowing it and looking for it, I still haven't.
I haven't realized that either.
You can tell you're watching a bad movie that's truly bad and not valuable when you're starting to pick out things like that.
You're just looking for
Yeah.
something to find.
And you're like,
so
okay,
bored
that
about it.
guy's
Yeah.
shirt changed.
Yeah.
You know the movie's bad when you're noticing that
Yeah.
someone's shirt is not the same.
Yeah. And then the way he filmed all the action scenes, he would do it in sequence. So he would stop the action midway through if he's going to change the camera angle.
Yeah.
And then he'd film that part. And then they'd continue on with a different angle or go back to that one and continue
Really?
the scene. Yeah.
Huh.
And you're using actors that have never acted before either.
Right.
Right. And the majority of the people in this film, basically everyone except for his main friend, is just friends and family and strangers they found in town.
So everyone's learning, including Rodriguez.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I mean, Domino, the lead actress, is like
She's good.
very good.
Yeah.
Was she an actor?
No,
before?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
They wanted to get some famous Mexican film star, and she was just like starting to give them problems or like wanted different things.
Probably wanted money for food.
wanted money, wanted to have more creative
Crafty.
control over it. And
Are there
eventually
roaches
just like,
fruit snacks?
it literally
I'm
came
not
down
coming.
to like Carlos, the main actor, being like, hey, I met this, like they're kind of having trouble finding this original actress. And then Carlos Gallardo is like, hey, I just met this girl last night at the bar. I think she'd be really good. You should meet her for this movie.
Oh, no
and
way.
yeah, I do notice there's like a lot of like, not like romance or just like all the bad guys have like multiple mistresses, but there's no kissing in the actual movie. And you're like, that kind of makes sense for all these non-actors. You
Oh, I
can't.
think you're right.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, okay, so he's gonna have a 4-way right now in this
Yeah.
bed. He's gonna wake up from it. They're not gonna make these random girls who did seem really young, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And there's no sex scene either whatsoever.
No, they kind of imply it. There's multiple parts
I mean,
where
there-
she turns the lights out.
Yeah.
But even at the very end, his girl is dead and he kisses her very gingerly on the
That
forehead.
must be
Yeah.
the only kiss, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the only kiss in the movie.
I love this. So what happened after this? How did we get from this movie coming out to there being sequels?
So they made this as a practice film.
Okay.
Once it was all edited and finished, they went to Los Angeles and tried to sell it direct. It's like direct to video
Okay.
for the
Kind of
Mexican
like
market.
how people sell directly to Amazon or Shudder.
Or Shudder right
nowadays,
now. Yeah, back then. Because they thought they were a shoe-in. They were like, this is going to blow away.
This is better
those
than
films.
most of the movies on the direct-to-video
Yeah,
market.
because just like those Shudder films, you know, the quality's pretty low. They're just cranking them out.
Yeah.
So that's what people were doing back then. They would sell them for like 35 grand, get their money, and just make another one. Mm-hmm. There's just, you know, directors that were doing that. So they just wanted to get into that just to sell their practice film. They started actually having a lot of trouble selling it for some reason. I don't know if it was the violence or what.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Or maybe the story, it wasn't like, you know, dramatic enough in the way it traditionally was. So there were some kind of issues where they were kind of surprised as far as like, wow, we really can't even sell this to like direct to video. Mm-hmm. And then they made a trailer and sent it out to all the big companies.
Just for fucks, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, they were like, might as well try.
And Columbia just loved it, or
I think it was someone else at first.
Yeah.
And then they started passing it around.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of places initially said no, and then one big person in Hollywood was like, "Whoa, yes!" And that's how Hollywood works. As soon as one person gets excited,
everyone started wanting it,
and then it just became this bidding war.
Yeah,
Universal and Disney and Columbia are all trying to get Robert Rodriguez onto their thing, and then
the biting game began. Everyone
loves
it.
Yeah, Columbia ended up. I don't know why he chose Columbia, but they ended up spending $200,000 on fixing it in post.
Whoa. Okay, so that's like 25 times as much as they spent on the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot. A whole lot.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't know what exactly went into it. I guess it was just preparing it for the big screen, you know?
Was part of that lump sum developing the new ones, or was that this
just on this?
No, just on that one. Plus, it was marketing as well.
Gotcha.
I'm sure.
That might have been.
And then at Sundance in '93, it won the Audience Award.
Okay, I did know that this first one did win Sundance,
and that's probably where he met Tarantino. I'm assuming.
Yeah, they go into that in the book. He's like, yeah, this guy Tarantino is like doing stuff for his movie Reservoir Dogs. He's talking about writing this new movie called Pulp Fiction. Word.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then they ended up
history
because I believe Tarantino was with Columbia at the time as well, right?
Would have been.
So they were writing in the same office in Los Angeles after this.
Okay.
So while Tarantino was writing Pulp Fiction, Rodriguez was doing his 4 movies that he was planning on releasing at once.
Very cool.
So they were kind of in the same realm at that point.
Sweet. So did he go immediately from Mariachi 1 to
the 4 films?
He did the 4
at the same time. And one of those 4 films is Mariachi 2.
Is Desperado.
Desperado is what it's called. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, cool. Is there anything I should know going in? I guess you guys have already seen this.
I mean, I guess it's just a whole, you know,
it's
movie with money.
It's a sequel and a remake. You're gonna see
a sequel and a remake.
They make sure that you know it is the same character moving forward, but they're also repeating a lot of the same scenes and situations. That's the first one.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. We'll see.
It's never bothered me. Especially watching this movie again, I'm like, oh, they do that exact.
Have you ever watched them back to back?
No.
This is probably good. This is going to be interesting.
It's going to be cool.
This is why we do this, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've seen them, you know, across time.
Yeah.
Huge gaps.
Okay. Well, cool.
It's fun. You're going to see the Carlos Gallardo, the guy who plays the mariachi from the first one, but he is no longer playing the mariachi.
Oh, he's playing someone else?
He's playing the mariachi, Antonio Banderas' friend, who's also a mariachi. But I mean, alas, Robert Rodriguez got really famous for this, but Carlos did not.
Rip Carlos.
Because Carlos is great, but
Carlos is awesome in this movie.
I mean, it's the star system. Like,
yeah.
Hollywood
or some shit.
Antonio Banderas is not Mexican. He is a Spanish actor, but that's Hollywood for you as well.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the best we can do for you. It's him or Bruce Willis.
You're lucky he doesn't speak Portuguese. Let's move on.
We were gonna cast Ben Affleck, so.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I think this next one is also Salma Hayek's first movie.
It's okay. She was like a TV star in Mexico.
Oh, that's it.
And she was like, I'm just gonna go to the US and go for it. And she was getting super small parts. Like playing, you know, drug dealers' wives and things in US TV or movies, like no lines or anything. And she went from being pretty damn popular on TV novellas Like, everyone knew her in Mexico. They were like making fun of her for coming to the U.S. because they were like, "Look, you went from like being a star in our country to just playing shit roles over in the U.S." And then this
is her breakout.
Yeah, this is her breakout.
She is ridiculously young in this one.
Okay. What is?
I mean, I just mean like you're just gonna be like, whoa,
Okay.
probably like 18 or something.
Okay,
I don't know.
gotcha. Cool. Well, I'm very excited, boys. Let's do this thing.
Let's check it out.
Mariachi 2, Desperado.
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 I was visiting a bar, and in he walked.
You saw his face?
His face? No. I mean, every step he took towards the light, just when you thought his face was about to be revealed, it wasn't. It was as if the lights dimmed, just for him.
They called him a loner.
I know who you are.
Really?
You kill drug dealers.
I killed the woman I loved. You ruined my life.
They called him a myth.
You've heard stories of that man that carries the guitar case full of weapons. Find him and kill him.
I hope you don't think you can take someone like Butch all by yourself.
Really?
They made the mistake of calling his bluff.
Is there something in the guitar case? A guitar?
Now, it's time to face the music.
Let's play.
Desperado, the new film from Robert Rodriguez.
95. She would have been 28, 29.
She was 28?
Yeah.
She was 28?
Yeah.
I thought she... Oh.
I thought she was 18.
I thought she was much younger.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah,
she looks so young.
She looks great in this movie.
Yeah. Well.
Another great movie.
What a ride.
Different.
Yeah. Oh, majorly different.
Yeah,
right
very,
from the
very
get-go.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean by remake, but not really.
Yeah, like they do all these scenes and ideas. Like the bad guy's really into the girl and he tries to kill her at the end. And
Yeah.
very like there's another hitman that they mistake for him, and like a lot of little things like that. But then obviously they make it very clear right from the beginning that it is a continuation,
Right.
a sequel.
Yeah. Our main actor is not the same,
Yes,
like we mentioned,
Which is sad.
which is sad.
It's sad that he's still in it as the tier 2.
I kind of wish they would have just made like El Mariachi like this like group, like this mystical like, oh, if you do something bad in Mexico,
Mariachi.
El Mariachi, which is like multiple people of these just people carrying guitar cases dressed in black. That would have been dope if they were kept keeping the same characters. But
Yeah, but they didn't
they
give
did
him
not.
any lines, right?
That's not what it is.
Carlos had 0 lines.
no,
The other mariachi guy didn't have any lines.
No.
Kind of sad.
that's Hollywood, folks.
New Mariachi's pretty good though. Antonio, he's solid. I mean,
He's
yeah.
yeah.
Antonio
he's charming.
He's great.
Yeah, he carries both the intensity and the like comedy.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
Yeah. You could definitely feel the bigger budget immediately in this one too.
Immediately, as Steve
instantly.
Buscemi comes in.
Yeah, you're like, oh, a star.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Talk
the-
about like star power in this. Every time
Yeah.
someone will pop up and be like, oh shit,
Oh,
it's
snap.
insert or Danny Trejo's in
Danny
this movie.
Trejo.
Yeah.
Earlier, Danny Trejo role, Salma Hayek. I want to say, I actually didn't look this up, but I'm pretty sure this is her breakthrough into American movies.
Okay.
The bad guy, I didn't look, Hakeem de Alameda. I know he's like a known quantity. Also,
Yeah.
not Mexican. Portuguese American, but
You know.
this is Hollywood in the early 90s.
They're trying their best, guys. They're trying their best.
Again, they wanted Ben Affleck. No, not really. But you guys know the Argo thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What's up with that?
So Ben Affleck's character in Argo is like in real life, he is a Mexican American man.
Classic.
Man.
Scarlett Johansson.
Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell, you know. Classics.
Emma Stone as a part Hawaiian character in what is that movie? Aloha? I don't even know.
Aloha.
Aloha? What is that?
Yeah, the recent Cameron Crowe travesty.
Oh no.
Sorry.
I've never even heard of that.
Don't worry about it, but that was
I
a
think
thing.
the most fucked up one was, it must have been Johnny Cash movie about him. His wife, I guess his first wife was black, but in the movie, she just straight up is white.
Oh.
Which is like, why?
It was such a
Why?
thing. That's not good.
It's absurd.
Huh. Well, even though he's Spanish, not Mexican, Antonio Banderas is pretty good in this film.
Does a great job.
It absolutely rips.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to even do like a plot summary? We can do a plot summary, but it's pretty much the same. That feels unfair. That feels unfair to say it's the same plot as the first movie, but
they do their own stuff. Also, it'll just be a way for us to get to all the
totally.
good
Let's go through it.
we want to talk about. So the whole movie just starts at a whole different level of action movie caliber.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi walks into a bar. The bartender is Cheech Marin, and he starts telling this story about this wild gunslinger that he just ran into. And the way he's telling the story, then the camera, they cut to like what Steve Buscemi is describing. And it's incredibly stylized. And, Steve Buscemi is like, this man, like he was always in the shadows. It was like the lights dimmed for him. So he's like already becoming like a legend as opposed to just the wrong man at the wrong place.
Yeah.
And, this story ends up with El Mariachi, the guitar wielding gunslinger, just murdering a whole bar of low-life criminals.
I think he does probably 3 or 4 times in this movie.
Yeah, dozens of people murdered throughout this movie. And
behind the back
the way
shots.
the way this gunfight starts
Yeah.
is Steve Buscemi describing. But then he goes into the case and pulls out the biggest fucking gun I've ever seen, and then just a shotgun levitates into the air. Antonio Banderas catches it and starts sending people flying. Just
Flying.
Literally
The budget,
across the room.
That's when you really notice
Yeah.
the budget.
Yeah.
Because, first movie, you got the cool squibs and the blood condoms. Yeah. This one, people are flying 30 feet across an entire bar, hitting tons of wooden chairs.
Yeah, destroying
tables. It looks cool, but you're like, whoa, this is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You can
It's not
feel
the
the
same.
difference between $7,000 and whatever this one costs.
A couple million.
Yeah.
At least,
Yeah. So the story here is Antonio is kind of just on this revenge quest. He's killed the guy who killed his girlfriend, but this whole criminal organization is going to pay for ruining his life, basically.
Yeah. That's something that I think was not done super well in this movie.
No.
They didn't really explain why he was doing the things he was doing. Not that we have to care, but in the first movie, there was a very okay, we're following a line of like this. Yeah. This makes sense.
We're with
this one is
character,
just pure revenge.
Yeah,
it feels. I thought.
No, absolutely. The first one, you're with this character who
Yeah.
suddenly finds himself caught in a shitstorm and has to get out. And then this one, you're just following basically a serial murderer, but you never think of it that way because
he's always defending himself.
Yeah,
but he never starts the conflicts.
He never starts the fights. This is true.
Yeah.
And then everyone is so one-dimensionally evil in a really fun, cartoony way that you're just like, yeah, these guys need to go.
Yeah, you don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, no, it's not. When I say serial killer, I don't mean bad thing, but basically he's just this force of nature, and you haven't really figured out what his motivation is for a while, and it's never bothered me, but it is an open.
It is
not quite a hole, but something like that.
Small crack.
Yeah,
a plot tear.
We'll
call it.
Plot tear.
With some bad stitching.
Oh yeah. I do like that he gets stitched up multiple times.
He's hunting down a new villain. Apparently the leader of the organization that killed his girlfriend. Kind of a tenuous connection, but whatever. We'll roll with it.
We'll go.
As soon as we meet this bad guy, he's just sending his own people to die, either murdering his own people in front of him or
he does that a lot.
This bad guy's killing his own men throughout the entire movie. Yeah. So we're like, all right, this guy definitely needs to go. So it's whatever. Antonio Banderas is just blowing up people left and right, and eventually hooks up, literally, but meets up with Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
Kind of just randomly during a gunfight, they cross paths. And then because he saves her life, she takes him into her bookstore. And from then on is just constantly sewing up his wounds.
Yes.
Obviously, this leads to serious
sexy time.
Yeah.
Sexy time.
Also, to clarify from what we said before we recorded this section of the podcast, she is of age.
She's actually 28.
She is.
I just want to specify.
Not like 28.
She does not look 28.
No.
But yeah, that scene, I remember her talking about it, how she was super nervous. Because Antonio Banderas, she described him as being extremely free and he was just ready to go. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm not embarrassed at all, you know? He's like, let's just get this scene going. And she started crying.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and Robbie Rodriguez was like, yeah, it's all good, you know? Because she was just thinking about her dad and brother just seeing this. Because they're like, you know, like macho men.
Yeah.
From Mexico, and you know you're not supposed to see your daughter or sister.
Well, I don't think you need to be a macho man from Mexico to not want to see your daughter.
Yeah,
or sister
but it's like
have
way,
sex on
it's like
TV.
way culturally, it's like way more serious.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's why she was.
So during the premiere, she took them out during
see.
that scene.
Okay,
and they never said anything about it. But yeah, she was just super nervous.
it's a pretty
going into
explicit
that.
sex
It's
scene.
very graphic.
Yeah. What is this movie rated? Is this an R?
Oh, this is R for
R.
sure.
Okay.
PG.
Well, they got away
14.
like back in the day. There was like shit happening in PG movies.
PG what, 13? Or
No.
just
PG-13 didn't exist.
Well, this is after Temple of Doom.
Oh, okay. Was that the turning point for
Temple of Doom and
rating?
Gremlins is when
Wow.
PG-13 got invented.
What was-
Look at fucking Henry with the history
Damn.
here. This is
What's
incredible.
What's Temple of Doom?
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. That's the one where
And
the
then
guy
like
reaches
Gremlins.
and rips out a heart. Well, Gremlins is like a kid's movie, but it's also
But
really
scary,
not.
yeah.
It's really scary for kids. And they were like, we can't just have like 7-year-olds going into this
Oh,
movie.
is that why PG-13 was created?
Yeah.
That's a fantastic fact, dude.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
Damn. That's great.
That's good stuff.
They're like, whoa, there's a hole here.
Yeah.
Where all sorts of dark shit is coming through.
I do remember watching like the old Romeo and Juliet movie in school and it being rated PG. And that's got just straight up tits in it.
It's okay though. You know?
Yeah.
They're like,
Shakespeare.
it's just bodies. Everyone's got them.
Bodies.
Yeah, it's Shakespeare. There aren't going to be any kids who watch this anyway.
Well, there was the super old one, and then there was the Leo DiCaprio one. I'm on a tangent.
love
I'm on a
it,
tangent.
dude.
I'm sorry.
Fantastic. We could do that.
We are gonna marathon the Ballroom trilogy.
The Ballroom trilogy.
Baz Luhrmann's love trilogy. It starts with Strictly Ballroom, Romeo plus Juliet, Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
Romance trilogy.
So good.
I liked Romeo plus Juliet.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That's a pretty good.
It's one of
movie.
my favorite
Leo
movies.
DiCap.
Yeah, he's
Leo
fantastic.
DiCap.
Yeah, man.
But back to Antonio.
Yeah, back to this one. Sorry, folks.
Yeah,
No,
let's
it's all
just
good.
not watch Once Upon a Time.
Let's just start a new marathon.
We could.
I don't think we really have to recap the rest of the plot. Just there's multiple bloodbaths leading up to the final reveal that the bad guy is actually Antonio Banderas' brother.
Was there a hint to that at
Nope.
any point?
Only midway through the movie when Antonio is like, so there's a part where the bad guy goes to the bar and sees all of his men dead.
Right.
And then he sees there's this little boy character who does not affect the plot in any way.
No.
But he kind of just makes Antonio remember what it was like to want to play guitar. So it kind of works. Anyway,
Yeah.
bad guy sees the little boy playing the guitar and you can see like something's playing through his eyes. It's like a very subtle hint.
But there shouldn't be something playing through his eyes because it's just a kid playing a guitar.
Well, he's thinking about his brother who
Okay.
he plays the guitar. And then later, Antonio's supposed to, has the bad guy in his sights.
Right.
And then he doesn't pull the trigger. And Salma Hayek's like, why the fuck aren't you killing him right now? And he just doesn't answer. So at the very final scene, it's revealed that they are brothers. One became a
Interesting.
unsuccessful
I don't know.
mariachi player and the other became a drug lord.
I don't like that element very much
No,
personally.
That is
they
his brother.
forced it
Yeah.
in to make some extra
The
intensity.
payoff is low. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, really? Is this actually for real? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing it.
All right.
Okay. I mean, if you want.
It's never bothered me, but I agree.
Sure.
It is just that kind of like, oh, what?
I wouldn't say it bothers me. It's just a throwaway thing that I was like,
And then
why is this here?
the last gunfight, the end, where he kills him.
It's not about. It's like a Western
Okay.
type moment.
Yeah.
By that I mean to people who haven't seen this movie, they've just had this crazy fight. Carlos Sciardo, the original El Mariachi, and
Oh, yeah.
another guy come in as his mariachi partners, he calls his friends and he's like, guys,
Mariachi in black.
guys, come to town, bring your guitars. Everyone has guitar cases that are shooting wild guns. One of them is a rocket launcher.
Which
one of
he's
them
reloading
reloading by just
pretty
shaking
cool.
by
it.
shaking it, and then the other dude just has chain guns. in two different cases.
To be clear, they're not opening the guitar cases,
Right.
and these weapons are inside. The guitar cases have been
just-
fully integrated
It's
into the weapons.
sick.
Yeah, they're just machine gun guitar cases, bazooka guitar case. It's a really fun action
It's
scene.
awesome.
Huge, like 50 people die,
Including
And
the
then
kid from earlier.
Almost
the kid we were
dies.
talking
He
about
does
almost
get
dies.
rocked by a Desert
Caught in the
Eagle.
crossfire. And then we get to the bad guy's lair,
Yes.
and they have this reveal. It's the brothers, and there's still like 20 bad guys around.
Yeah.
And the bad guy, like the first movie, is like, I'm gonna kill your girlfriend now, but
Yeah.
Antonio murders him, and it just fades to white. We don't see any other shootout.
Yeah, it doesn't explain it. And all the other bad guys are like actively pulling their guns on Antonio as it
Yeah.
pulls off.
Yeah, so maybe he dies.
Maybe it's all a dream.
Maybe the rest of it.
Maybe the flash of white was him dying.
It's
Maybe the
very
entire
possible.
next movie is all just a
pulls a Twilight 5 on us. None of it's been real.
yeah. The end of Once Upon a Time in Mexico comes back to the end of Desperado and it's like, no, actually, he died in the last movie.
What a miserable.
What a tragic experience.
But let's hope that doesn't happen.
Indeed.
This last movie is Antonio again, I'm assuming.
Yes, although he plays a much smaller role, I would say.
Really?
So we just saw like, oh, there's a whole change in the terms of action movie. This one jumps genres. It's more of a soap opera, I would say.
Really? That's
It's
super interesting.
Wildly different.
I don't remember this one
It's
that
also
much. I've only seen it once.
It's also like 10 years later. There's like a
Okay.
2 years difference between these two, but this is like a massive
damn.
jump.
Is Selma back?
It's almost back, but really there's Johnny Depp, Willem Dafoe,
Okay.
Mickey Rourke. Eva
Mickey Rourke?
Mendes.
Should be interesting.
Nice.
Mickey Rourke I think like right around the time of Sin City, but pre The Wrestler, so he hadn't quite like become
Okay.
Oh, this
Famous
has to be
again.
around like 2003.
2003, 2005, something kind of like that.
Okay.
And Danny's sadly fully dead, right?
Right. So we didn't bring in Danny Trejo. Now plays this alternate Man in Black, who only uses knives, just taking
He was
people out.
the coolest henchman.
It's
By
fantastic.
Yeah.
In fact, it made me, while watching that, it made me think about why these movies are so fun. Is like, there's all these henchmen bad guys, and they feel like they stand out more than a lot of typical henchmen
like the
bad
Bond
guys.
They
effect
do.
almost.
Even
Yeah, there's a
Flannel,
Bond factor.
Yeah.
Even Flannel Man.
Yeah, the first
like he's
movie
got
is-
the
well-
match striking against his face, and then he gets to strike the match
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end.
He has feelings about what's going on around
Yeah.
him, which makes you enjoy watching him getting pissed off at his boss,
Yeah.
striking matches.
And then
on
the
his
guy
guys.
with the broken leg, like he
Yeah.
fights to be in the crew.
Yeah.
Gets
And-
his leg broken,
And then dies
Still
at the
wins
end.
the fight.
And
yeah.
and you see this, you see this henchman, you see him get inducted into the crew at the beginning of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And when you see him throughout the rest of the movie, you're like, oh man, it's that guy.
It's that guy, yeah.
He earned his place in this ring. You're like, whoa, it makes it so much more fun.
That's the thing this movie does really well is I feel like I care about all these characters, even the like random one-off henchmen.
Yeah.
They'll
And
have
they
a
have
thing.
barely any dialogue. and
Yeah.
you still care about them. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
They feel, it kind of gets overused, like they feel alive. It's not
Sure,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
feel like real characters, but it just feels like they exist in their worlds, and it's kind of goofy and
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, like comparing the side characters of this movie series so far compared to the side characters of the Twilight series. I know that's not a fair comparison. But there's life behind these people's eyes. There's things going on.
Yeah.
They have lives outside of just what's happening on camera right now.
Yeah.
And you can tell. That's pretty cool. I like these movies a lot so far. I'm excited for the last one.
Tarantino, we didn't mention.
Oh,
Quentin
yeah.
Tarantino gets a cameo.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's honestly probably my favorite Tarantino performance.
He's not a bad actor. He's pretty good.
The whole just story.
He
about
just tells a
pissing in
joke
the
about
glass.
pissing in the bar.
Pretty
but it's-
long joke.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
Solid minute long.
Yeah. I mean, it's really fun to watch it. It's my favorite scene of the movie, or one of them.
Yeah.
There was one very important thing. So I told
Okay,
you guys
yeah.
to pay attention to, at one point, we have a classic moment. Antonio Banderas is on a
Yes.
rooftop. He drops some grenades on some bad guys. There's an explosion, and they're walking away in slow motion. I guess 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, saw Robert Rodriguez at a film screening. And in that, he claimed that was the first time that had ever been done. Hero walking away from an explosion in slow motion. And at first I was like, are you sure?
Are you sure?
And then I was like, I mean, honestly, and the way he told the story too, he was like, yeah, so, we were just going to have our explosion. And my pyrotechnics guy was like, hey, you want like a fireball? And Robert Rodriguez is like, sure. Like, how long is it going to last? The guy's like, just a second. So Robert's like, okay, well, I'll just shoot it in slow motion then, so the moment lasts longer.
Genius.
And that's how. And he said he was like showing this to like James Cameron when they were like filming it, and James Cameron was freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god, this is the coolest thing ever!"
Slow motion. They had slow motion though, right?
Well,
they already had that.
No, just nobody had ever done that moment of the hero walking away
specifically
in slow motion from an explosion,
gotcha.
not looking back, which is now like one of the most cliched, parodied moments of action movies ever. And
that's a cool thing.
And if you think about it, that shot was almost too fast, anyways.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't in slow mo, it would have been pretty bad.
It's not the kind of thing you see these days. Now they shoot it in like super slow mo and really focus on the character not making any expression. But like here,
the debris falling around them.
Yeah.
It's awesome because you could still see, even with money, Rodriguez is still learning so much.
Totally.
As he's
Inventing.
Inventing, learning.
And it doesn't feel like it got like fully Hollywoodized either. It feels like this is still
Steve Buscemi was there
vision,
because he was excited about El Mariachi and asked to be part of one of his projects.
Yeah.
But Quentin Tarantino was probably hyped as well.
Yeah.
Probably
all of them.
It's pretty good movie, guys.
Yeah.
Well, cool. You ready for the third one?
Yeah.
Let's do this thing. It's a soap opera, apparently.
Soap opera. I like it a lot. First time I saw it, I didn't because it's not like Desperado. And then I saw it more grown up and was like, oh no, this is fun. I just want us to be aware. Like, we're jumping into a different pool here.
I mean, we've seen a lot of action and I've enjoyed it, but I wouldn't hate a change of pace,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this thing.
I never heard of him. Who? The man you recommended. The man is a myth, a legend. And if he's still living, he's the one you want. I make you nervous? No.
A renegade agent playing both sides.
I work for the CIA. Mexico's my beat, and I'm walking it.
Is out to find the outlaw who became a legend.
I need you to kill the man. He's being paid to kill the president. So why me? Well, frankly, because you've got nothing to live for.
What's wrong?
Everything. Oh, yeah. It might get a wee bit dangerous.
Now,
Do you want to know the secret to winning? One has to rig the game. This is a setup.
he's about to discover that legends
I'm here for my guitar.
I didn't think you'd ever come back for this thing.
Neither did I.
play by their own rules.
And I guess I have no choice but to kill you all.
Once upon a time in Mexico.
Are you still standing? Still.
My body's rejecting the movie.
Karate chop you? Can I karate chop you in the chest?
Sure, yeah.
For that one.
It did fix your hiccups.
It did.
Yeah, that's what I did it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you so much.
Glad to be here. Well, boys, the third El Mariachi movie. What is this one called?
Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Guys, I did not. I don't know. I'll let you guys have the first. I'm gonna let you all have the first opinion.
No, we've seen it now. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just at the time, we're like 20 minutes into the movie. Everyone's like, I think this is going to suck. I was like, it's like, that's not a good attitude.
That is what we thought.
It was.
Thank you for bringing us back to the median.
It really.
We were low on this thing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if this was the only movie I watched of the day, I would be okay with it.
Me too.
But
I think the reason I don't like it is because I'm comparing it to superior movies that we just finished watching.
Yeah, it does take a just major turn in tone and like
it doesn't feel like the other
plot,
ones whatsoever.
Even
it
though
barely feels like a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
even though it's referencing the older movies,
it is
constantly,
a lot constantly. It doesn't feel like
no
a sequel
Not at all.
whatsoever.
And it kind of fell into the thing I was complaining about earlier. I was complimenting the first two on how they're just going, and we're not caught up in this like hyper political drama bullshit. This is the movie I'm talking about.
Not only is it cut up in that, they bring in just different factions of groups of people just because of that political.
Yeah. How many like times did our main 8 characters get backstabbed in different ways?
I don't know. I lost
Infinite. Yeah. There's
Every
so many
scene.
characters. They're all backstabbing. But it's never in like a fun or like a clever, like, oh, it was more just like, oh, now you?
Yeah.
It's also kind of messed up that I like how Salma Hayek is on the cover of it. I don't know if you guys seen it.
Oh, let's look at this.
But like,
she's dead in the movie.
Yeah, I know. So she's like a main selling point of it, right? It even says right on the cover, her name is in the middle.
That's crazy. Antonio's barely in this movie.
He's basically a supporting player to Johnny Depp.
Yeah, but he's still in it.
He
That's
gets
all good.
Enough screen time to almost save it.
But her being on the cover,
more, I understand.
No, I agree.
Being, I don't know, maybe top bill, probably just after Antonio. And then they're like, well, let's just write her in these weird dream sequences.
Here's the thing. They didn't have to kill her off. That didn't happen in the second movie. We only see her death in flashbacks in this third movie.
Well, the point is the mariachi movies, at least starting with Desperado, have been about revenge.
Right.
So that is like the only thing emotionally moving this movie forward for me.
True.
Because of political stuff.
I would say, like, why doesn't she die, like, halfway through then, instead of, like, before
the
movie
that
even
she's
starts?
Not part of it whatsoever.
Yeah. And her scenes are some of the best.
They really are,
the best scene.
Even the flashback stuff. I mean, she's good. She's a good actress.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp, I kind of hated him in this, but also he was probably the best part of this.
How do you feel, Andrew? You were reacting to this performance more than
we
were.
Yeah,
but
at first you can immediately tell he's on an entire different wavelength than any other actor in this. And typically that's William Dafoe, where you're like, whoa, this guy's got a weird energy.
Yeah, we'll get to William Dafoe.
You know,
he's also
that's just him, right?
Yeah.
And I know Johnny Depp is also such a powerful human being when it comes to acting.
He's always the weird one in the group.
Oh,
no matter
right.
Even if it's Alice in Wonderland, he is the craziest person in Wonderland.
Exactly. He was just a little bit too much, because he, like you said, he's always the weird one in any movie he's in.
Yeah.
And he just takes control of the screen and an entire just vibe of the film, at least when he's on screen.
And it's not the film's vibe. It's Johnny's vibe.
It's Johnny Depp's vibe, yeah.
But it's a unique vibe because it's not like any of his other roles either. He's not like over the top the way Jack Sparrow.
It's almost like extremely comical. Like there's a lot of funny stuff that happens, obviously.
Yeah.
The way people die, explode, fly around. You're always chuckling here and there.
Yeah.
But then when Johnny Depp is on there, he'll start saying some shit. You're like, is this a mistake? Like, were they not planning to put this in the movie? Is Johnny Depp just messing around?
There are moments that feel unscripted. Which is Johnny
and it's great.
Being weird. But.
Like, as much as it makes me question why he's in it, he's probably my favorite character in it.
He has tons of funny moments. I feel like the problem is he's really unlikable for a long part of the movie, and he's so central to it that you're kind of like, I don't know what I'm not anchored to anything here because I don't like this guy. He's a corrupt CIA agent.
Yeah.
He murders innocent people all the time.
He threatens children.
Yeah, and then what? That kid just likes him because of money? That's a shitty message.
It's not good.
The kid's like, okay, yeah, I like this guy. And he's crying when Johnny Depp gets shot in the hip because he knows he's not going to be able to sell gum for $10 a day anymore.
Right. Yeah.
We should do a brief synopsis of what's going on in this movie.
This is going to be very challenging.
I can't do it.
I thought I was going to have to give up midway through, but I think I got the crucial, the essentials.
Sweet.
I mean, all you need to know is that Johnny Depp is this corrupt CIA agent.
Yeah.
And yes, I do bring him up first because he is the driving force of this movie, not Antonio Banderas.
He's the main character.
The mariachi.
For sure.
He is hiring Antonio Banderas, the legendary, the mariachi, El Mariachi.
Mm-hmm. Can I call you El? Can I call you
to somehow get involved in a whole political coup situation. So there's a president, then there's Willem Dafoe, who is the leader of the cartels.
Right.
And one of Willem Dafoe's lead henchmen happens to be the guy who took everything away from Antonio. And we don't know what it is for a while, but spoiler alert, this guy murdered Salma Hayek and Antonio's daughter in the movie. So very sad.
Very sad. Saw in flashback.
So
really,
I didn't care.
From that setup of there's a president and there's going to be a political coup and there's a bad guy, then Danny Trejo's in it, Eva Mendes is in it, Mickey Rourke is in it.
My God.
There's about 30 other characters that you don't really need to know, but
all playing
just
just one-off,
yeah,
agents of some.
They're all
henchmen and
intertwined
lieutenants.
in this coup,
as opposed to before when it's like, ooh, we've got all these henchmen and they all stand out. It's more like one of those convoluted political thrillers where there's a million different angles. And Enrique Iglesias shows up this time. He plays the new
he's playing Carlos.
Yeah, he's playing one of Antonio's
the second one.
Yeah,
one of Antonio's mariachi friends, who also is a gunslinging dude. He and his friend Leonardi.
Maybe
Leonardi is the.
Are you talking about
actor.
the Sons of Mexico?
Oh,
we got there.
Let's get into that.
I was just gonna say their mariachi tricks is Enrique Iglesias has a guitar case that is a flamethrower,
So dope.
and Leonardi has a remote controlled guitar case that blows up,
Which is amazing because he opens it and you see the car
and the dynamite,
and then he closes it.
Well, he has to program it or take the remote control part out so he can.
And then
use
it drives the entire case
under a tank.
I guess it's just so you're not confused as to why is the case just floating on the ground.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they did it, but it's awesome.
It's goofy. The thing we're referencing is towards the end of the movie, Antonio Banderas and these boys are all. There's a just massive revolution / coup d'etat during Day of the Dead. So festivals turning
Chaos in
into
the streets.
Revolutionary chaos, just blowing up, fire everywhere. These guys come into the presidential building. The president's lead man has just betrayed him, but then these guys show up and save him at the last moment. And he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And Antonio turns around all dramatically and he's like, "Because we are sons of Mexico." And this is when we looked up and confirmed that 2 of these men are Spanish and the other is Italian.
Amazing.
I can't believe that. That's so incredibly funny.
It's amazing.
This is the most Hollywood shit.
Oh yeah, and we didn't talk about how William Dafoe is spray tan with
tan
black
blackface.
hair.
Willem Dafoe is definitely supposed to play a Mexican man.
Yeah, he's got a probably fake mustache. Definitely.
Yeah, his hair is darker. He has an accent.
And
Mickey Rourke's in this movie.
Right. We could explain who he's related to, but it just doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter. No.
It doesn't matter. The movie doesn't care. We shouldn't care.
I do have a great little bit here about Johnny Depp. So
Okay,
you know how you were making fun of his shirts?
Yeah, I was making
So he's
fun of
got
his
one
shirts.
CIA shirt, which is just dumb.
It's incredible.
It's perfect. Yeah, he's constantly changing outfits like a CIA person would to vanish.
He's got
And
a
one of
shirt
these
with an
shirts is-
arrow pointing down at his penis that says "I'm with stupid."
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
So I was like, this doesn't make any sense, And then reading about it, apparently Johnny Depp wanted to dress like this because he was basing the character off some dude he knew in Hollywood who, whenever he'd have meetings with him, he said he's super charismatic and you get intoxicated by him, but he's gonna fuck you over, but you can't leave him or be let go. And he was always wearing cheesy ass shit. So that's why he based this character completely off him and how he acts and then how he dresses as well.
Huh. Well, this guy he based it off sounded like an asshole.
Yeah, that's what Johnny was saying. He's an asshole, but he's very convincing and charismatic. So he kind of played that way. Yeah. Especially he tricked the 8-year-old into helping him.
Just what a weird movie. What a strange thing we just
You'd
watched.
really have to detach from the plot completely. And once you do, it's so fun. There's so many jokes.
The action's pretty good.
Action's
Yeah.
way over the top. When Salma Hayek's flashback scene is they wake up, in this hotel room together and they're not just handcuffed, but ancient manacles, with a 3-foot chain, and they somehow
pirate prison
chains together, and then just all these soldiers start firing at them, and their escape is just incredible.
They're going from balcony to balcony, dropping
Outside.
story by story,
Linked,
linked, hanging from each other's arms, and then just kind of flying through the air, going down slowly as they swing each other back
as
and
people
forth.
are firing at them with M4s.
And then one of the staircases, the emergency staircase, just falls off at one point.
Yeah, it breaks off. They get hit by a bus just like the first movie.
Exactly like the first movie. And then she flips over the wire.
Oh, that's incredible.
So like from the first movie where he throws over, it wasn't a chain, but something to just ride down this line. He like zip lines, gets on a bus hood, and they escape.
Right.
He escapes. And this one, they do the same thing, except their chains are over the wire. So when the bus hits him, Salma Hayek flips over the wire like 10 feet in the air.
Totally upside down for a
onto
moment.
the top of the bus.
Flips back down.
The action's good.
Yeah.
It's good
That was
in all of
sick.
these movies. That's the thing that is awesome.
Yeah. And the sense of humor is just bonkers in this one. It's loopy. You just have to completely detach from the plot, which is hard to do because they keep coming back to all these names and like Barillo is going over here to do this thing and Marquez is coming to do this thing. And you're like, I don't care.
I don't care. And also it's not like the characters even know each other. It's not like they're all building to one monumental thing at the end. It seems like at the end, like there's one-on-one matchups of all of these characters that we've grown to know and hate.
Yeah, so what was the whole resolution with the coup?
I don't even know.
The president survived because Enrique Iglesias got him out of there.
Enrique and the other
the Sons of Mexico
The Sons of Mexico got him out.
I thought they were I thought the president was also a problem.
Yeah, I thought
they kind of established that at the beginning, right? Didn't they?
That was Johnny Depp being like, the president must die because I'm going to depose him. I just want to kill the people doing the coup and then put my own people in there.
Yeah.
This is why this movie just like completely...
Everybody's unreliable.
Yeah.
Every character changes their mind. They have different motivations halfway through the movie. Maybe that's an overstatement, but it feels like no one knows what's going on.
No one really knows. Every time Antonio Banderas is on screen, it's great. Every time Johnny Depp is on screen, it's very fun, but like a little,
You're like, what is this?
Here we go.
And then after that, it's a crapshoot of like, even Willem Dafoe, who I love, is kind of just a one-note bad guy in this one.
You know what this feels like? It feels like they brought in each of these famous actors for like 3 days.
Yeah.
And shot all of their scenes, and then they didn't come back. Because it feels like this is like 8 different plots that kind of maybe work together at the very end. But this is disjointed. This is kind of a mess of a film.
It was too much.
Yeah.
He did write it in 6 days.
Wow.
Well, that's his fucking problem.
Which is
that's his bad.
Fast.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's hard to write a movie in 6 days.
Fun fact that I learned, this is at least one of the first Hollywood movies shot entirely on digital HD.
That's interesting. Okay.
It's the first one to be shot in high definition digital video.
That was it.
Because he was hanging out with
George Lucas,
who was shooting
Attack of the Clones.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so Lucas showed him some early footage because it took longer to make than this.
Right, yeah.
So he was able to shoot this and release it before George Lucas.
Got him.
Got him.
That's
just
okay,
kind of
yeah.
fucked up.
Because in my mind, I thought Attack of the Clones was the first one.
I mean, it was like the first planned one. And
That's very funny.
And then he looked at the early
He's
footage.
rushing the movie to come. Maybe that's why this movie's not very good. He's rushing it to be the first to
one.
have an HD movie come out. Well, boys, on the whole, even with this last one not living up to the expectations, I think this is a pretty solid series of movies.
They're really fun action.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing the progression of just what Hollywood does to people.
I don't know. I don't think it's cool, but I get what you're saying. I think
Like,
it's
you
kind of
start-
sad and not.
You put your entire heart
motivating,
into one
but-
project.
Yeah.
The first one. Second one, you finally get some money and you're like, this is still cool.
Second one is like Goldilocks zone. It feels like, like he still has the creative vision. It's still going the way that,
And he's still learning, innovating.
yeah.
Which in this one, he is innovating. He's the first one shooting on
Well,
digital. Stealing
innovating is kind of a stretch in this scenario. if we're being-
Yeah, he's turning into Blizzard, you know? Blizzard's now just taking ideas and throwing money at it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overwatch 2 coming 2024.
Great.
Maybe. If it doesn't get pushed another 6 months.
Another 6 years.
Yeah. Well, Thank you, boy. Y'all have any closing thoughts? How did you guys feel about these things?
I did find one more cool thing out. You know how I was complaining about the end of the second one? How there's no big battle scene?
Yes. Oh, yes. You told me about this.
And it goes to white, right?
Yeah.
So apparently that film was rated NC-17 when they finished it.
Okay.
And they had to cut out not only Tarantino's death was apparently way more gruesome.
That makes sense.
And someone else's death was
You
like...
would have wanted it that way.
Yeah. And there was another one that was like really messed up. And then there was an entire fight scene of all those gangsters at the end. A massive shootout. And apparently...
After he killed his brother.
Yeah, there's an absolute bloodbath. Okay. So what we saw was the rated R version.
Yeah. So there's an unrated version of this somewhere in the world.
I don't know if it's actually... I guess we could check. Yeah, but it was NC-17 at first.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, he got some of his vision back in this one when Antonio Banderas finally confronts Salma Hayek's killer. He shoots it, blows out both knees.
That was sick.
Bones are sticking out. It was incredibly gruesome.
Yeah.
Very. There's also an eye removal scene.
Yeah. Did you talk about the raspberry sauce?
My boy. My boy looks like he's got just jelly on his face after he gets his eyes removed.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall,
Johnny Depp is the guy that gets his eyebrows removed. I should say that.
Thank you.
Johnny is my boy. When I say my boy, I'm talking about Johnny.
Oh, not the yellow shirt kid?
Yes.
Not the literal child.
Not the little child.
Yeah. I mean, even with that one, which again just isn't my favorite, it's still just goofy, like kinetic fun all throughout. It's like funny, it's laughable, it's like fairly romantic throughout.
Going back to what I can't remember if it was you or if Andrew said at the beginning of this section, but if that was the only movie I watched today, I feel like I would have a much better reaction to this.
Yeah.
That's what happens in these marathons.
Yeah, that's why.
You have to compare it right after the other one.
Eventually I'll figure out that that's what's happening and stop saying
no,
it on
but
the podcast.
I do also feel like that every time.
Yeah.
I mean, usually I think, third movies do have a reputation of being the lamest ones, but also I think our 4 through 6 is the most painful. Usually when we get through that, that's when we just get loopy again.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, the 6th one's so good.
I love the beginning of the 5th section of the last podcast we did is just everyone screaming. You turned around in the 5th.
Man, that last 4th one was so bad. Holy shit.
But I was in for it by that point because I was just high out of my mind after sitting.
I did really want to just tie everything up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have seen this. You guys had seen this before. How has your opinion on this changed in this new viewing format?
I will say El Mariachi, same.
Okay.
I've always loved it.
Yeah.
And the more I learn about it, the more I respect it.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's by far my favorite one out of all of these.
Yes.
Not even knowing how it was made, I still liked it the most. Maybe because it's so condensed and just cut perfectly to just tell you everything it needs to tell you. I really like that about it.
Yeah. I honestly really enjoyed the first actor a lot.
Carlos?
Yeah. I like Antonio's great, but I would not have complained at all if Carlos would have just been the guy for this entire series of movies.
Well, who knows? They might have never made a third one.
That's very true. I bet they wouldn't have happened if Antonio wasn't attached. So it's a weird wish to have. But Henry, how do you feel about these?
I love them.
Okay.
Desperado has always been my favorite, but it's also my first.
Too,
I probably watched it a short time after seeing Kill Bill, which I know is my when some people have, bar mitzvahs and stuff like that, but Kill Bill is when I became a man.
Like Jewish people?
No, just some people out there. There's just things.
With the age and the religion now.
If you can think of a different becoming a man thing, I'd love to use that one. But for me, it was Kill Bill. But I remember seeing Desperado soon after, and it was like, it's not that it was better, but it was just like the perfect expression of goofy, kinetic,
especially
violence.
When you're a kid, like
when you're a
that
teenager,
bigger budget, that's a thing.
People flying.
Yeah,
I wasn't. I remember not being ready for how much fun it was going to be. And just like giddy, loving it.
I will say the people flying in this one just upped it up more. I mean, how many people died in this? 100? Easily, right?
There's a full
It's gotta be,
revolution,
right? Yeah.
at the end.
There was like a war.
There was dudes on the stairs. There was 30 of them.
There was
all
a
dead.
tank.
Yeah.
There was a tank at a moment in this film. Then a guitar blew it up.
Yeah, remote controlled guitar.
Oh, okay. Well, this has been really fun, guys.
It's been awesome.
Yeah. Do we have something we're looking forward to, series of film wise?
You know what? Well, Resident Evil, of course.
Resident Evil, of course.
Dying to watch.
So I don't know who's listening to this podcast.
A lot of people.
I'm not sure how many
It's a
people.
lot.
I can look at the charts, but I haven't in a while. So I'm not sure if anyone is asking us to watch anything specifically.
Sure.
But if that's something that you would want, maybe hit us up. And I don't know. I'll look at it. Maybe.
I like that. Email me. I might
Email
read it.
me. I'll definitely respond. If you listen and you would like us to watch a specific series of films, reach out to me. We'll talk about it.
Anything over 5, anything over 4 is already rough. But if we get a tenor that we're not excited about, I don't know.
Yeah, do unto others as you would do unto yourself. Do not ask us to do something that you would not be prepared to listen to.
Yeah, we're not doing Leprechaun. All 10 Chuckies.
Yeah.
No. 10 Leprechauns.
Yeah.
No, I want Resident Evil. I do really want to do Scream at some point.
Okay.
That's 4.
I want to do Cars.
I'm excited
I'm
for
down
Cars.
for Cars.
Yeah. I think an animated series would be kind of fun for this.
Yeah, I'm in.
There was another one we were
Mighty
talking
Ducks.
about. Yes, that's
Okay.
gonna be a great one.
Cornetto trilogy.
Yes,
Would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and when we want to get serious, the Before Sunrise.
Yeah. Also, to stave it off at the pass, probably not going to do Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or Star Wars on this show.
Yeah.
Ever. So,
Sorry.
Sorry, folks.
Damn.
Too many podcasts already exist for those. If you're looking, type it into Google. You will find what you're looking for.
You'll find more than you had ever dared to dream.
Yeah.
I will say about the Harry Potter thing. My ex was living with this group of people, and this one girl would watch Harry Potter constantly, and it was just all 8 were playing
At the same time?
No, just back to back.
Sorry.
But
ignorant question on my part.
That'd be even better. But it was like every time I went into that house, Harry Potter was playing. And then when I came back, let's say, a day or two later, it would be like 2 or 3 movies deeper. But sometimes it'd be like back the same one when I was there 3 days ago.
That is
whenever she was home
scary.
and awake, it was playing. So when she was studying, cooking.
This is your
sitting
ex,
at
or this
home-
is
no,
the roommate
the
of the ex?
roommate,
Okay,
yeah. And it was just playing for a year. Just the whole year was only Harry Potter.
Well, that will do it for this episode of Marathon. Thank you so much for listening. We'll do Cars.
Until next time.